Onadiwood. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about working at Foot Locker. I got hired to Foot Locker August of 2020 actually, yeah. So August of 2020, right out of the pandemic, things was just starting to open up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like the place was completely shut down in New York City, and I was like, yo, I need a job. At the time as well, I had my goals to get my car. So I was like, yo, I need to get a job to have the pay stub to show and all that stuff to get the car. Low-key think I got hired because the manager at the time was Jamaican, because I applied to a bunch of different locations, and you know, I only got an interview at one. I think I got the interview because he was Jamaican. I think he saw that, you know, on my resume it says Jamaican, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna at least give him an interview. I did really well in the interview though. I spoke up. I was, you know, I showed my personality, my extroverted self. They want that. They like that, right? Because you're doing sales. They want you to talk to people. They want you to be, you know, communicative. So showing that, not being shy in the interview is important. Next day they called me. They was like, yo, you got the job? I was like, great. So when I originally got hired, I actually got hired to Foot Action, but Foot Locker owns Foot Action and Champ, so it's really all the same company. I was working there for like, I want to say 6 months. Yeah, so I worked there till like January of 2021. Working at Foot Action at first was really good. Great experience. You know, when it started, I was getting shoes. I was excited to go to work every day, all that stuff. But it slowly declined when, you know, there was certain people making jokes about me and stuff like that. Whether it was because of how I looked, you know, how I was dressing. I didn't really figure out my style yet. I was just 19 and I was just, you know, trying to figure myself out. You know, they weren't the most professional about it, and it affected my whole attitude to the job. It affected, you know, the fact that you're working with those people and they're making jokes about you in Spanish or other language and stuff like that. It affected me, right? So I eventually transferred to get out of that, transferred to another Foot Action, killing the game, right? When I just transferred there, I was going crazy, like trying to do everything I could do to, you know, get the highest sales, make a name for myself, all that stuff. Because when I was at the old Foot Action, the atmosphere of working there and not wanting to go to work affected my performance, obviously, right? So that was another thing that would get piled on to, like, oh, you know, he don't know how to dress, or he's so Jamaican, or whatever, right? And the ironic thing about even the he's so Jamaican jokes is that the manager that was Jamaican that, you know, I think got me into that job, they also made fun of him and disrespected him behind his back, and he was like the general manager of the store. So, you know, people gonna be people, you know what I'm saying? Had this new store, I was going crazy, doing good, got a new general manager. She was mad cool. Working at that store for like 6 months, from the cold months to January. Everything was good at the new location until the entire company decided to shut down Foot Action itself. And that's how I ended up working at Foot Locker, because my Foot Action turned into a Foot Locker. So all Foot Actions across the country would either get shut down completely and just not exist anymore, or they would turn into a Champs or a Foot Locker. And, you know, my location turned into a Foot Locker. Started working at Foot Locker, a lot of stuff changed. They took a month to turn all this stuff, because certain things that are in Foot Action are only Foot Action stuff, like certain, you know, decorations, stuff like that, just how it looks and the designs and all that stuff. So after a month, came back, it was Foot Locker now. Foot Locker is different. Foot Locker is different. Literally the same stock room, most of the same people, right? And the same like building, same location, same commute to work, all that stuff. But just putting this referee shirt on, I don't know, man, it changes stuff, bro. It changes people, good and bad ways. So first of all, it's a uniform. Foot Action, you weren't wearing a uniform. It was the dopest thing. It was supposed to be the urban side of Foot Locker, so you just wear whatever you want to wear, and it just had to be, you know, not too revealing or anything like that. And you got to be well groomed and all that stuff. Like, those are the rules. But you'd wear like a Foot Locker, a Foot Action lanyard, right? And that's it. It was dope. So I just be wearing whatever I want to wear, be chilling. Now I can only wear black, and it has to be something that Foot Locker sells or Foot Locker branded. Can't have any other brands on you. So you can't wear like a black V-Lone sweats or like Essentials. You can't wear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't sell Essentials, so you can't wear that. And it has to be like a certain percentage of black too. It has to be a certain level of black. Crazy. Annoying. So uniforms definitely changed a lot of how I looked at it, but that's okay, you know what I mean? It's a new job, all that stuff. There's also different perks to it being Foot Locker. We got more shoes, we got dunks, we got Yeezy slides, all that stuff. Like, there's certain stuff that Foot Action didn't get, and there's certain stuff that Foot Locker did get. The main thing that changed when it turned into Foot Locker was the people. We got a new general manager, and she was horrible. I'm not gonna lie, like, she was awful. She changed the entire mood of the entire like thing. It was like an eclipse. It was sunny, And then she just stepped in front of the son and be like, what's up? No more smiling, no more joy, no more fun in this store, bro. Like, everybody is sad now, right? Some people, you know, they roll with the punches and they just like, you know what, this is a new manager, this is what it is, I'm gonna work on, you know, this person's terms, right? And then some people were not having it, and some of them transferred. The thing is too, having this card is a good perk, so a lot of people will like not want to quit to keep the 30% off and work at another job, right? Because the next thing about this job, it's hard to fire you, right? Like, you got to do a lot of stuff for them to fire you. So, you know, as much as the manager would love to get you fired, like, I've had managers tell me like, oh, I can't wait till he gets fired. I wish I could fire him. I wish I could fire her. You know, it's not that easy for them to kick you out the system because, you know, you've been working there. When this manager came, she was just so bitchy. Like, I don't want to use that word. I mean, like, I feel like that's a, let me use a more direct word. That's a personal word. She was very callous. That's what she was, right? She was very callous, authoritative, with like no real explanation. Like, oh, you know, like, do what I say, this is what I say. In a way, it was like, oh, we just met. You haven't even like gained my respect yet. But that didn't even matter to her, because in her mind, she doesn't need to, like, you know, gain your respect. You're just a peon. You know what I'm saying? That leads into what the pros and cons are of my entire experience, right? My entire experience, the job itself is great. You get to talk to new people. I've met a bunch of different people. I got people to follow my clothing brand, my photography stuff, right? They didn't really lead to any jobs from it, but, you know, there's people that just met me from that sneaker store. There's people that watch my story to this day, and I text about shoes and stuff to this day that I met just from sneakers. You get the perks of selling sneakers. Like, the perks about this job, you could check out the video about that. Like, I've posted the video about that. But the cons for me was just the people, right? And I went to 2 different stores, and they each had their caveats, and it got better the second time because it was less about prejudice. It was more just unprofessionalism. I had managers saying the wildest stuff, like stuff if you got them recorded and played to their superiors, they would guaranteed lose their jobs. Stuff that would get them canceled, like, you know, and the thing is, those managers would tell you stuff, and you think you're friends with them, but then you're not exempt. You're not special. You will hear about the stuff they're saying about you to other coworkers. So, you know, there's people talking about people's personal life. I've heard there's like drama happening in the store, scandals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna give the details and stuff because I was told certain things in confidence. I mean, that's really any job though, right? Any job gonna have its, you know, its fair share of, you know, boogeymen and monsters under the bed and skeletons in the closet and stuff like that. But a lot of people, especially, like, this is what this video is for. This video is for the people who are like so excited to go work there. Just be realistic. And I'm not saying not to go work there because it's definitely worth it. Like, once again, check out the perks video. But just be realistic. Mainly the money. 70% of why I quit was the money. I was getting to a point where $15 an hour wasn't cutting it no more. I had my car. I have other goals that I'm trying to pursue. I have 2 businesses I'm trying to run. $15 an hour just wasn't cutting it no more, and I needed something better. Also, the fact that you're not even getting 40 hours a week, and at that point, I didn't even want to be there 40 hours a week. So even if they gave it to me, I wouldn't have wanted it. Because it's like, if I do a shoot, I was looking at the fact that I made 10 times. If we were doing it by hourly, I was getting paid 10 times that at a shoot. So I was just like, yo, let me just focus on this because this is what's making me money anyway. Another, like, there's a couple of events that led up to me really, you know, pulling the trigger. That new manager, she definitely, you know, salted the wound, if I would say so. When it came to the money, I was just like, yo, like, I'm not getting paid enough for this. I dread going, and I was happy to leave. And that's how most people treat their 9-to-5s, but at the start it shouldn't be. Like, I think if you're looking for a job, you want to get a job, and you can get the job that you want to get, you should at least be content with going for a year, right? Or like 6 months. You should at least be content to be like, oh, I'm about to go to work. I'm not excited or ecstatic, but I'm about to go to work and it's gonna be cool, right? I'm about to go to work. It's not gonna be nothing too crazy. I'm going to work, right? I think that's the least type of emotion you should have towards your job. It's like, yeah, I'm about to go to work. It's no problem. I got to go to work today. Or you make the occasional cracks or jokes of like, I got to go to work, right? But hating it, yeah, don't put yourself through that, homie. Don't put yourself through that at all. The next thing was I went to Puerto Rico. Y'all saw that video. And when I came back, I was getting no hours. I feel like that was a personal thing. I don't know. I can't read people's minds. But I already knew this job wasn't my bread and butter. But now I was leaning on my business to pay my bills. Luckily, because if I didn't have my business, I wouldn't be able to, you know, afford my lifestyle and all that stuff. Not that it's not crazy, but just to stay on my feet. You know, and some of the stuff that happens when working at retail, it's just all a learning lesson. It's a part of life, right? Like, retail, there's some people who have gotten into this job and have made great stuff out of it. I know one guy, He went to, it was in the job. I met him when I just started, and he got promoted. He finished college, and he's in a position to go to corporate if he wants to. That could be his thing. His degree is in line with, you know, the company, and that's the main reason I liked working there in the first place, was that the fact that, yo, I wanted to take photos for FOOTLOCKER, and I tried to like make that happen, but it never happened. It never went anywhere. I got contact with one of the higher managers than the one that's at my store, and you know, I talked with him, and he kept like, you know, kind of giving me the runaround. And then I realized, and then I saw like a post FOOTLOCKER made, and I was like, oh wait, they outsourced their photographers. I saw the photographer they use. I was like, oh, I know that guy. That guy takes photos for Quavo and stuff. I realized that, okay, they're not gonna even get me in a room with that guy, because at the end of the day, there's hundreds of FOOTLOCKER stores, and you're just a part-timer. Like, you're just a number, right? And as much as they can afford to, they're gonna make you feel like you're not, and you're gonna believe them in the first time. But don't get caught in the trap. You don't make enough money there, even when you get promoted to full-time. And when you're a manager, and that takes a little while, you could be the general manager, you're going to be making okay money, and that's if you're not even by yourself. Chances are most of the general managers either don't have that much responsibilities, like they're still young, or they have a partner to like split the bills with. Let's talk about who this job's for. This job is for teenagers. They hire at 16, put your resume in, and then walk down to the store and be like, yo, I put my resume in, I want to work here, right? And if you get that job at 16 and work there till 18, maybe get full-timer and then do full-timer one summer, or you could maybe do full-timer through college, get a valid degree, you would have had great shoes and, you know, okay money, right? There's better jobs. There's better jobs where you could get, like Apple starts at $25 an hour, and this job full-timer, you're getting like $17.50 an hour. And you could be at Apple working part-time, so you get better hours to work with school and make more money than the full-time person. It's not the end of the world though. Like, this is just my experience. My experience was the job was good, but it's sometimes severely hindered by the people, because they really create the work atmosphere, is the type of people that work there. There's 20% of the people that I became real good friends with. I did make great friends with some people, and most of the people that I worked with on my level, I'm cool with to this day. The management is just not that professional. That's what I'd say. And there's just a lot of, you know, underlying remarks that they make, and, you know, I've been disrespected straight to my face and all that stuff. And, you know, some other guy would have been punched somebody in their face. Another girl would have been cussed somebody out. I mean, I've seen it happen. You know, I can get testimonies, right? So if it's in a court of law, I definitely win in terms of, like, you know, the type of people, the way people have been treated and all that stuff. In closing, I definitely say it's worth applying. I definitely recommend it to anybody that's interested in fashion. I think working at, you know, a FOOTLOCKER or a Champs for at least a year is a good idea. I really think it's a coin toss when it comes to the type of people you work with. You know, my location also, I feel like, affects certain things. There's certain people in different cities and certain people in different boroughs, so you could live in a location where everybody's just nice, but overall the job, the workload's not crazy. You're just standing up all day. Some locations you can be on your phone. If it's slow and there's nobody in the store, you can be on your phone, so the time just passes. And then if it's not slow, you're talking to people. If you're extroverted, that's great for you, and if you're introverted, it's a good way for you to get a little balance, because I do know introverted people who work there and still work there and are doing pretty good. So yeah, apply. Definitely wouldn't say, like, you know, not to apply. You get paid, you get sneakers. My experience was just, it was time to leave, and I'm glad I did. Thank you for watching. That's gonna be it for this video. I appreciate everybody that watched the video. One thing, leave a like, subscribe if you're interested in more videos, and just go on easy.